What's up, gamers? My name's Scyushi and we're finally back again for some more Boneworks. This is actually going to be a bit of a special video for you guys where we're going to be talking about the utility gun. Now, before we get into talking about how you're going to get your hands on the utility gun in the story mode, I do have to deliver some context to it. So any of you guys that already know exactly what the utility gun is and why it's a big deal that you can get it, I'll put a timestamp somewhere on the video that'll let you know when you can end up skipping. But for those of you that don't know, I just wanted to kind of give you a runner-up of this is the utility gun, this is what it's for. We gotta talk about the recycler, we gotta talk about the sandbox mode, and we gotta talk about some of these things that make it more important so that you understand the gravity. That'll make sense later. The gravity of being able to use the utility gun. The pun is that you can literally just warp in the gravity gun when you end up having the utility gun. So let's first talk about the sandbox mode. So when you're messing around in this hub area, in one of these lockers, you'll actually end up finding this key, and you end up inserting it right in here in order to end up turning on these modules. As of right now, there's only the 2 modules. The fantasy land you'll end up getting for beating the story mode. That basically is going to end up being an arena mode where you can fight various enemies, waves of enemies and stuff like that with specific parameters. So sometimes you'll end up using a pistol with limited ammo, maybe you're melee only. That's besides the point of what we're talking about today, because this right here is the sandbox mode module, and in order to get that, what you gotta do is actually go into the break room, and when you're right here in this room, there is the archive and there's the incinerator, and what you're going to want to do is throw everything. Oh, I kind of messed that up. You're gonna want to make sure you throw all the items into the archive. None of them go into the incinerator, all right? And it's going to end up making a lot more sense later. It's pretty cryptic and weird, but you have to do this so that you can end up unlocking a doorway that shows up. Whoopsie daisy. So you can unlock a doorway later that gets you into the archive room. So I'll just kind of skip ahead to that. So you're gonna want to end up progressing through the break room into the museum. You can't just skip to this level. You have to actually go all the way through. Because as you can see right here, these are the items that we threw into the archive room, right? So when you end up getting to this big weird Cthulhu cup thing, there's actually a secret wall right here that ends up going into the archive room. And for the longest time, I thought there was a secret way that you could bash through it. But in fact, you just have to put all of those items into the archive at the break room level that I mentioned. And then there you go, we can end up getting into this room. There's a couple secret rooms like this in other parts of the game. But the important thing is we're trying to get in here, because this is going to end up being the module. That is going to be what unlocks the sandbox mode. So now I have to actually progress a little bit further, because we're not done yet, so that we can end up throwing it into the recycler, which I'll explain how the recycler works in a moment, because it took me the longest time to figure out how it actually works. There's also a very rare drop where you can get, like, out of these barrels, a katana can randomly spawn. Apparently there's another location that you can get it from in the tower, but I haven't actually found that, so no katana. So now that we're getting up to the point of the collector or the recycler or what have you, which, my god, it confused the hell out of me the first time I played through this game. I had no idea what it was actually trying to explain to me. But what the recycler basically does is any of these various items that you find throughout the level, let's say a physics object, for example, you'll actually throw them. Let's take the module, for example. You throw it into the recycler and take a crowbar, take a pistol, and basically what we're doing is we're unlocking all of these items for the utility gun, which is in sandbox mode. So as we're throwing things into the recycler, it of course gets more and more difficult to unlock certain items. You can see these little pictures right here. There's actually one right in here. This is unlocking a player entity that you can spawn with the utility gun, and again, I'll show you guys that in a moment. But the thing is that once you've unlocked an item once, you don't have to do it again. So now we've already unlocked a pistol, so we don't have to unlock that pistol in any other level. And the trick is that you got to throw these items into the recycler, because if you don't, you'll end up getting to the exit of the level. And when you get to the exit of the level, it's usually a point of no return where it'll just end up deleting all of the items that you end up having on your person. But while I've got your attention in this area, I want to mention that ammo is going to be a crucial part to play in getting your hands on the utility gun. So when you're going through this level, let's say you're unlocking Sandbox mode for the first time, make sure you grab all of the ammo that you see. You're going to want to put it on your belt, put it on your person, because when you end up beating a level, the amount of ammo that you have from the previous level will carry over to the next level, and that'll end up becoming a little bit more important later on. Because as for right now, let's actually load back into the hub area, because now normally what we would do is we use the recycler, we would have to beat the level, and then we would have ended up unlocking the module item right here, which ends up unlocking Sandbox mode. So while in Sandbox mode, you can see there's going to be a plethora of different items that we can end up messing with. A lot of these guns I've already unlocked. That's why they're all just kind of chilling here. You can see I clearly don't have like all of the melee weapons and stuff like that, because I've been having a hard time trying to track them all down, like that katana that I mentioned. But you can see we've actually got like the gravity gun just chilling here and stuff like that. And this right here, not that, this is actually the utility gun. So the way that this is going to work is when you have the utility gun equipped, you can end up going into the utilities, and you can see right here, this is a list of pretty much all of the items that we've recycled, all of the items that we've unlocked, as it were, right? So let's just take a null body, for example. This is how we can end up spawning these enemies in, and then we could just start like attacking them and messing with them and stuff like that. And the utility gun, we could just put on our person, what have you. The whole point is that this is basically what the utility gun does, and these guys will activate. They do actually have AI, so the utility gun up to this point is only really exciting because of the Sandbox mode. But the thing is that while we're unlocking all these items for the utility gun, it is going to end up having a detrimental part to play in the fact that you can actually unlock the utility gun in the story mode. So this is going to kind of be a little bit of a spoiler for you guys if you haven't already watched my Let's Play series or you want to play through the campaign yourselves. But ultimately, I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a super duper spoiler or anything like that, but we're going to hop into Time Tower, and then I'm going to have to explain to you guys how the ammo works. So Time Tower is pretty much when the game starts getting really weird. It's the first ever actual boss fight of the game, and then you get thrown into a weird medieval land and junk like that. It's a really cool experience, but ultimately I'd say that everything up to this point is just kind of standard normal levels, the tower being one of the most difficult, and then you get to Time Tower right here. And you'll notice that there's this, suddenly out of nowhere, there's going to end up being these crazy developer weapons. So over on this side, we've got our pistols and our machine guns and stuff like that. And you can have, you know, have these for super duper cheap, $100 for a pistol, $200 for a machine gun. The reason that this is important is because as of right now, with the version of the game that I'm playing, there currently is no way for you to toggle between machine gun ammo and pistol ammo unless you end up equipping the gun. So you can see right here, this is an SMG round, so that counts as light machine gun or small pistol ammo, whatever. Let's just call it light. This will make sense in a moment. So what I would have to do to unlock any of these items is I would essentially have to throw all of these into one of the canisters, and then I would have to have already bought a machine gun so that I could then equip the machine gun, and then the ammo would transition into the machine gun ammo, the heavy machine gun ammo, whatever, because the whole point is that the game is going to automatically give you the ammo that you need based on the weapon that you're using. So that's the only way that you can end up actually buying all of these items, is you have to swap it over like that. So now let's talk about the most important thing, which is how the ammo actually works in this game. Because if we look at my belt right here, I've actually got somewhere close to, what is that, like 22,000 and something for my ammo, a little bit over the amount that you need for the utility gun, which is right here. I'll talk about each of these weapons respectively, but for right now, we're actually going to be hopping back into the hub area so that I can just explain to you guys how the ammo works and how important the billboard is right here. So this billboard didn't make any sense to me for the longest time. And even when I was scouring the forums and stuff, the way that people explained all of this was very, very confusing to me. Basically, the L is going to be the light machine gun ammo or light gun, whatever. Like, I don't know why they call it L. I really don't. The M makes sense because that's for machine guns, right? But the L is basically all of the pistol ammo that you can see on the left here, and then the M is going to be all the machine gun ammo. And then there's going to be the total amount possible right there. So all of these levels will actually go up to the tower. And the reason for that is because after the tower, the amount of ammo that you have collected doesn't matter, because you're only playing every level up to the tower to try and collect all the ammo that you can, so that you can end up buying, whoopsie daisy, so that you can end up buying the tools that I ended up showing you previously. So you are meticulously going to have to go through every freaking level in the game, trying to collect the most ammo possible. You can see I don't even have all of the ammo possible in the game. And you're going to have to play through every level melee only, because you don't want to spend any of your ammunition, because the amount of ammo that you end up beating the level with will carry over into the next level, into the next level, into the next level, so on and so forth, until finally you have enough ammo collected in total from your experience throughout the game to end up buying some of that stuff in the time tower. Yeah, so I've already calculated, and apparently I think there's like 900 ammo extra. Let me actually double check my piece of paper here. So there's 990 extra ammo that you can not get. The point is, because the most expensive item in the game is like 24,000 or something, and that is the item that lets you fly through the air and clip through the map type of thing, which, let me actually hop back into the time tower just so I can show you guys that. So I'll admit that I found it pretty frustrating that all of these items, including like the wall suction cup items and junk like that, all of these items which are shown in the trailer are actually items you have to unlock by going through the game. And it's pretty cool, but really tedious at the same time. Like, I hated going through some of the maps with melee only, because I'm using the Vive, and at the time that I was going through all of the maps, vibration couldn't be turned off on these stupid controllers, which thankfully we have an update now where we can just turn it off in the settings in the hub area, which is fantastic. But tediously enough, what you have to essentially do in order to unlock these items is, like I mentioned previously, you have to grab a machine gun, because usually you'll start with submachine gun ammo, so that you can spend all your submachine gun ammo here, grab the machine gun so that your ammo toggles over to the machine gun ammo, and then pump it into there. And then you end up grabbing the item, and I'll show you how you unlock it in a minute, because you basically have to go up the elevator, throw the item into the recycler, and then you have to beat the level. You got to do that over and over again for each of these items, dude. It's really, really tedious and annoying. The only one, I can actually use the super punch as an example, because I've unlocked all of the other ones, except for this bastard right here. So basically, this is going to end up being a super punch, which I can actually show you guys all of this stuff, because ultimately when you end up unlocking the utility gun, you can just end up doing this right here to spawn it in. And then, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to end up being the same gun that we had from Sandbox mode. So now we can literally spawn in any of the items that we ended up having from unlocking the Sandbox mode. So now that I already have these items, I can spawn them in without having to spend any of my ammo to end up getting them, right? So the dev manipulator is going to be the gravity gun, what have you. I pretty much have all of them, again, except for that stupid gun right there, which is the one that allows you to fly and clip through the map, but it literally requires me to go through every level in the game again while using these various tools to hopefully end up giving me a bit of an advantage to end up finding the ammo. I do want to mention that you can actually get all of the ammo without using any of these tools. You don't have to have anything in order to end up getting the max amount of ammo, but you're going to find it to be a lot easier while you have the utility gun, just because going through the game melee only is still kind of a chore. And if you have access to the gravity gun, for example, it's going to make it way easier for you to end up fighting enemies, because you can fight them at a range. And if you have these sticky gauntlet things right here, it's going to end up making climbing a whole lot easier. So let me get the super punch, and then I'll show you guys how all these tools work, and then we'll end up going through the time tower boss fight, just so I can show you guys how you'll end up actually unlocking these items. So what I do is I put the necessary amount of ammo to buy the machine gun without actually grabbing the machine gun, because if I grab the machine gun, it would swap my ammo over to machine gun ammo, and then essentially I would have to buy a pistol just so that I could swap my ammo back over. So let me kind of show you an example of what I mean. This is really, really tedious, and unfortunately you can't go super duper fast in exchanging your ammo, because I found that it glitches out and then it won't accept my ammo anymore. We're actually going to have plenty of ammo just from the pistol ammo alone, but let's just say maybe we ran out of pistol ammo right now. What we would do is just go grab this sucker right here, and since I've actually picked it up, now I'm actually toggled and using machine gun ammo. So now we would end up using the rest of our machine gun ammo to end up buying this. And eventually they're probably going to patch it so that you can just toggle your ammo with a button. But as of right now, there's just no way of doing that. Oh my gosh, come on there. All right, so this is a super punch. The way it works is it's toggled to have it on your person. I mean, I don't have like a Valve Index yet. They're shipping that to me like in January or something. And essentially, you'll hold the trigger to turn it on. And when we use the super punch, it's quite literally a super punch. It's so fun, dude. Like, seriously, I love these tools so much. We'll get to use this a little bit later when I fight one of the enemies, but let me show you guys what these other tools are, all right? So this one right here, this one kind of sucks. Honestly, I don't really like it because holding it's kind of stupid and it's pretty useless. Ultimately, you're going to press both of the triggers to toggle it on, I think. And it's going to end up basically allowing you to pick up heavy items that you wouldn't be able to pick up normally. So it's, as you can see, it's really weird. It basically kind of puts moon physics on the item so that you can pick it up, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to pick up an item like that without struggling. And these are going to have kind of the same function, but instead of actually picking up items, these are going to be used to hoist yourself up, which I'll use this as an example right here, because these are actually super duper fun, by the way. But I'll use this as an example right here, because say you're going through the game and maybe you're just shy a little bit of ammo, right? Well, if you end up being able to afford these bad boys, there is actually a little bit of ammo right here that you can end up picking up. Just in case, like let's just say, for example, that you're just missing that precious little amount. Well, maybe that would have just thrown you over the top, so you could have done it, right? And then otherwise, there's just going to end up being the gravity gun, which is extremely useful, like I mentioned previously, just for navigating through the game and stuff. And then otherwise, that's pretty much it. You already have the utility gun. Now, when you're fighting the tower boss, because I'll kind of show you guys this for a moment. Essentially, what you have to do to fight this thing, it's really, really tedious and stupid. You normally have to use this pole, and the end of this actually acts like a gravity gun, but only for those orbs that are in the center of the map. So what you normally would do is you use this to grab one of these orbs, super punch, grab one of these orbs, and you're going to end up loading it into these 4 cannons. There's going to be a cannon on each of the different corners of this map. What I would recommend, because I've gotten pretty efficient at this, is you can either use that, or if you have the gravity gun, of course it's going to end up... The gravity gun will make this a lot easier for you to do. But basically load up all of the cannons, then you're going to line all of them up first before you end up firing any of them. So this way, you can end up getting through the level as efficiently as possible, because as soon as you end up shooting one of these and having it land in the proper location on the giant sphere, enemies are going to start spawning. So what I like to do is set all these cannons up, and then I just shoot them all, and if any of them end up messing up, it's a quick enough fix because the trajectory is already all lined up. So maybe I just gotta change like 1 or 2 things, and then you can end up getting through the level, and that's all there is to it. Now, right over here, this is where you're going to end up using the recycler. It confused me like heck the first time because I actually beat this whole level, went through it all, and then the recycler is right here. So as soon as you end up beating the giant orb, you can't use the recycler anymore. And the other thing too is this is one of the only levels in the game that is unique in the fact that if you die, you have to restart it from scratch. You do not get to keep all of the ammo that we previously found in this location. So keep that in mind. Another thing too that you can do, okay, you can end up doing this. It's really, really tricky to do it, but if you line it up properly, you can actually just use the gravity gun without even using the cannons in the first place. Easy peasy when you use the gravity gun, man. And I think that pretty much covers it. That's how you end up getting the utility gun in the game, as you in the story mode, is you essentially have to go through the entire story mission. Well, not the entire, with just using melee only. But anyways, I unlocked this super punch item here, and I guess we'll call it a day. Thanks for watching, gamers. Really hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to make this as a kind of more supportive video to kind of instruct you on what it is that you need in order to get the utility gun, because obviously that's pretty much the end game. If I ever get that flying ability, well, maybe I'll do a video on that at some point, because that would be really cool. Oh, and another thing too that I wanted to mention is when we were in the archive room in the museum, you saw that box that had a giant skull on it. So those are dev boxes, or as people call them, the Boneworks boxes. You'll end up finding those throughout levels just in the game hidden, and usually what they'll do is either spawn a specific dev tool or random dev weapon. Those can range from like a Viking axe to the katana that I mentioned earlier. Some weirder weapons that you might not otherwise find in the vanilla game are exclusive to those boxes. So you'll have to go through levels finding those boxes to grab the items to put them in the recyclers so that you can unlock them for the utility gun. Yeah. Thanks for watching though, gamers. Smash like, sub for more. Have yourselves a great day. I absolutely love this game. I don't know if I'll go for that flying gun. Maybe I will, but I honestly kind of burnt myself out with this game. I already had the utility gun like a week or 2 ago, but I was busy with all the Christmas stuff, so I couldn't get this video out to you guys. But either way, I did want to end up letting you guys know that this is how it all works, and I hope that you ended up finding it enjoyable. Sign on, stay epic, gamers.